Education is like that old Thorndike experiment. Yeah, you keep throwing darts at a wall and you never get better if you're blindfolded.
I use the word design instead of restructure or redesigning. I think a lot of our structures and our designs are just plain broken, and that we need to come up with new design.
You know, we have an educational model that's based on a 17th century template, and it's antiquated and doesn't really address, modern practices and modern thinking.
Our whole focus has been working out of a box arrangement, a box that basically is about 800 or 900 square feet, and it's based on a teacher pretty much working in isolation, working with a group of 25 students, and somehow or other within that box and within the interaction between that teacher and those students is how learning evolves or how learning takes place.
A fifth grader told me once, why do we have classrooms that all look alike? Why isn't one a greenhouse? Why isn't one a music room? Why isn't one world history with globes and maps? And why isn't one a dance studio? And
what's happening, or eventually will happen probably, is because students can learn anywhere. They can have access to technology. We're not limited by the constraints of what we had before. That we're seeing a lot more integration of learning. We're seeing a lot more collaboration.
I think it'd be great. Imagine a high school that didn't have, a campus that was just integrated into different parts of the community. Why wouldn't that work?
The idea here is to instill in a student the love to learn. Not just today, not tomorrow, but lifelong. And when students are excited about learning, that's when it really happens. You give them the tools, the technologies, it doesn't matter what you have, but it is instilling, and that's kind of the power of the teacher, to instill in students a love to learn. For that, they have to be engaged.
So the first thing is we've got to get standards that say when a kid leaves high school, she's ready for college. And we've got to talk about that in terms of the skills of the 21st century.
I have a first grade daughter, which she doesn't have any languages in school. It's been cut because of budget cuts. So she doesn't get any languages exposed. Luckily, I'm originally from Spain, so I speak to her in Spanish. But she doesn't get anything from school. All her classmates only will know English. The farther you go into your education, the harder it's going to be to learn the language. Language is imperative. We are no longer a nation in isolation. We need to be connected at every level. We need to be able to speak and talk as many languages as possible.
Right now in Korea, they are 2 years ahead of us in the 5th grade. They're doing in the 5th grade what our kids do in the 7th grade in math. Which team you want to bet on?
It's our responsibility to be bold at this moment in history. This potentially could be our moonshot. If we're not bold at this moment in time, then I fear we'll remain with the status quo. And I often ask people, and how's that working for you?
No matter what we do, we have to do different, because the same is not working for thousands and thousands, if not millions, of kids.
Look, if you try a lot of things, some things aren't going to work. I mean, none of us hit a home run every time we step up to bat. I said, but the alternative of trying nothing is ridiculous. And that's what I'm trying to urge people here, to think boldly and aggressively and let reality constrain you. But if you constrain yourself, then you don't create the necessary torque to generate real change and change leadership. Thank you all very much.